Oh my God, somebody please say it ain't so. The feds are closing in on the Prince family because of what J. Prince Jr. did to Takeoff and what Boosie allegedly did to Duke the Jeweler.
For decades, the Prince family has ruled the city of Houston with an iron fist, ever since J. Prince Sr. used his business instincts developed in the streets to launch the now infamous Rap-A-Lot Records in the late 1980s. As J. Prince Sr. grew into one of the most powerful figures in the rap industry, he became known for pioneering a practice known as checking in, which basically means that if you're any way affiliated with any street activities or gangs, as many rappers allegedly are, if you come to the city, you better get in touch with the Prince family and pay your dues. And if you don't do that, you better not think about stepping a toe in Houston.
The first time that I heard the word checking in, it was in relationship to Houston.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the blame for that.
Over the years, numerous stories have surfaced about the Prince family's alleged sinister checking in practices, with Prince even self-admittedly allegedly pressing none other than Jay-Z for not checking in with him when he came to Houston.
And they convinced somebody from Priority to go directly to Scarface without communicating with me.
Okay, that doesn't happen.
I mean, that's not the proper way. He pursued his situation, right? It didn't go well for him because he didn't do protocol-wise.
Wow.
The Prince family also famously banned 6ix9ine from damn near the whole state of Texas because he refused to check in.
Hey, what's 6ix9ine at? Y'all came to see 6ix9ine, huh? Where you at? Where you at?
But these examples are just the tip of the iceberg. But recently, this practice of checking in has raised a few eyebrows over at the feds. Checking in would actually be one of the very things that another similar street rap mogul, Big U from the Rollin' 60 Crips in Los Angeles, would eventually go down for in early 2025, as the feds would use his own words about checking in to allege that he was in fact extorting people who had come to LA. But the federal paperwork would also interestingly mention none other than J. Prince Sr., describing him as an FBI Houston Division subject, meaning that he was at the time being actively investigated by the feds in Houston. But this is nothing new, because the feds have seemingly had their eyes on J. Prince Sr. for decades, gathering whatever evidence they could in an attempt to put him behind bars. And this isn't just due to the alleged checking in practices, but also because of serious cases involving far more ominous allegations. According to one story, J. Prince Sr. allegedly sent someone to shoot up the house of a rapper called Big Mike due to a contract issue, with this shooting almost killing him. But Big Mike would strike back, trying to burn down the Rap-A-Lot Records headquarters, a stunt that landed him in prison for years, while J. Prince Sr. skated by without any consequences. And yet, despite all the allegations and controversy surrounding them, J. Prince Sr. and his family have so far managed to avoid any serious consequences of their notorious street reputation. But more recently, the idea of the Prince family being brought down by the feds has begun to feel more real than ever, and allegedly, it all traces back to one wild member of the family, J. Prince Jr., one of Sr.'s 3 sons that include Jr., Jazz Prince, and Baby J. In order to understand where these new claims are coming from, let's start with the most recent incident, one that many now see as the beginning of the end for J. Prince Jr., and if they're not lucky, it will be the downfall of the entire Prince family.
So if J. Prince and J. Prince Jr. go to jail, who's going to be running the South? If Boosie is no longer on the streets, who's going to take over? Who's going to buy his estate and raise his fishes, his chickens, and his cows? J. Prince got a lot of land. He owned the island. Who's going to take over all this stuff? Jeffrey Epstein? They're going to have to give us some answers, because if they're going to take down MOBTIES, who's going to be left to protect Drake?
A violent incident recently unfolded in Houston at the Confessions Bar and Restaurant, a venue known for hosting some of the biggest names in rap today. On April the 8th, J. Prince Jr. was out with a rap collective that had a long and complicated history with the Prince family, NBA YoungBoy's 4K Trey crew, as YoungBoy's right-hand man OG3 was out celebrating his birthday. Now, this link-up alone raised a lot of eyebrows, because many years earlier in 2020, there had been tension between NBA YoungBoy and J. Prince Sr. after a group of young goons broke into YoungBoy's mansion in Houston and stole several items. Not long after this, those same items somehow ended up in J. Prince Sr.'s possession, and Sr. would post a video of himself on social media, positioning himself as somebody that was genuinely looking out for YoungBoy.
The little homie YoungBoy place got broke into. People went in his place, disrespected different things, and I got a call about it. And the little homies that went into this place want to make that right, because they understand that, you know what I mean, YoungBoy family is okay with me. And as you can see, homie, to make a long story short, I got your keys to your Rolls Royce. I got your keys to your McLaren. You know, all that shit that they took. And the homie, Shakur, what you got, homie?
You got your Rolls Royce umbrellas. You got your keys. You got a bunch of other shit. Get in contact with us, bro. Get your
But Youngboy didn't see things that way. He would question why J Prince would take it public, showing off his stolen goods, instead of reaching out to him privately, especially if he really just wanted to return the items.
Hey, I don't no friends, I don't no new relationships. All that, hey, I don't respect none of that shit, man. If you got something for me, man, I got plenty of around me you could call. Man, it's plenty ways you could get in touch with me. Man, don't get on no internet and do nothing publicly. Don't do nothing dealing with no publicity, none of that. And I'm good on them keys, gangster. When you buy cash, two keys come with the car anyway. Mind your fucking business, man.
The unspoken implication behind this whole ordeal seemed to be that J Prince Sr. wasn't really trying to help, but really make a power move to show that he was the one who really ruled Houston, and that Youngboy should be grateful for his protection. In the follow-up to that incident, J Prince Sr. would have some rough words for Youngboy, still pointing out that he was apparently cool with Youngboy's right-hand man, OG3.
You took my kindness for weakness, because you're a dumb boy with limited thinking ability and disrespectful. You're talking slick and acting like you and your brother wasn't down with me letting it be known you were MOBTIES connected. But I talked to your brother, and I believe every word he said about you knowing, because he's been solid with me. I've known your brother for years and never witnessed no weakness. So OG3, we good. But you seem to be dumber than a box of rocks.
The relationship between Youngboy and J Prince Sr. would apparently be fixed a few years later, seemingly with the help of yet another infamous hip-hop mogul, Birdman. But as OG3 himself explained in a recent interview, he had been cool with Sr. for a long time, even before that incident, and he had since become particularly close with J Prince Jr. This would explain why J Prince Jr. was out that night, celebrating OG3's birthday, with the entire 4K Trey crew with him.
How did you smooth over that J Prince situation? Like what? How did you? Like, I was like, this. He really went and smoothed that over.
I mean, the J Prince situation. I'm being honest. Like, man, they really, like, on my side, like, just on a personal note, that's really family. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. The daddy and the son. You get what I'm saying? And I got closer to Junior through the daddy, so it's like. Me and Junior really like this now, and I was really with his dad at first. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, the birthday celebration would soon descend into chaos as a scuffle broke out between members of 4K Trey alongside J Prince Jr. and a Detroit rapper known as All-Star JR, real name Jeremy Ford. His child's mother would reportedly be dating J Prince Jr., this likely causing tension between the two, especially considering the embarrassing videos that were floating around showing them both together.
Hey, man, he a cheater, y'all. Oh, that's mob. She made it. Oh, hey, you are. She made it. Trust the process. Say, man, I'm glad you left her alone. Or I'm glad y'all had differences because I'm the difference now.
With all of this possibly being the exact motive for the attack. But whatever the ultimate reason, the 4K Trey goons decided to attack All-Star JR inside the restaurant without warning. What followed was a ruthless beatdown where they were putting both hands and feet on JR while stealing his jewelry. However, things would take a complete 180 turn when JR would suddenly get his hands on a gun, apparently dropped by one of the attackers, opening fire with tragic consequences. This left two members of 4K Trey, Ben 10 and Dead End Ron, severely injured with life-changing injuries. Ron had to have one of his fingers amputated, while Ben 10 currently remains paralyzed from the waist down. Still, many were left confused when the first and so far only arrest in the case turned out to not be any of the people who allegedly started the altercation or robbery, but the shooter All-Star JR himself, who many believe had acted in self-defense. However, the logic behind the arrest would seem more understandable when reading the truly gruesome events described in his criminal complaint. A security camera at the venue would capture JR not just defending himself, but also allegedly chasing his attackers afterwards while firing wildly in their direction. and most brutally, JR returned to Ben 10, who was lying motionless on the floor, and stood over him firing additional shots, with one of these possibly being the one that caused his paralyzation. JR would then walk away before soon returning and shooting more shots in Ben 10's direction, and eventually the only thing that seemingly stopped him from executing Ben would be the gun running out of bullets. And even that didn't stop him, because then he apparently went on to pistol whip Ben 10 with the empty gun and spit in his face. He would eventually flee the scene before the police arrived, but based on the brutality of these acts, many would likely argue that he deserved to be arrested for overkill or using excessive force. But interestingly, that's not what he was charged with at all. Instead, the only charge brought against All-Star JR was a charge of unlawful possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. And this charge didn't come from the Houston police, but the feds. But in order to charge him federally, the feds had to prove particularly one key detail, that the weapon at some point had crossed state lines. So following JR's arrest, many believe that's exactly what had happened, that he had taken the gun with him and fled back to his hometown of Detroit.
You can take somebody's gun and use it against them for self-defense, for sure, that sounds like self-defense, but as soon as you stand over him when it's not an immediate threat, now we have a problem. Here's the other problem. I was talking to somebody who seems like they're sort of close to this case. They think it's a possibility that he left the scene of the crime with the gun and potentially crossed state lines with it in his car.
But in reality, JR hadn't even taken the gun with him. He actually hid it under a bar counter at the venue before fleeing, and the real reasoning for the feds to charge him was simply the fact that the gun model JR ended up using that night was a Glock 43X, which is manufactured outside of Texas, therefore fulfilling the requirement of interstate commerce. Now, while that technicality makes it a federal case, something about it just feels off. It's a surprisingly flimsy and thin reason for federal agents to suddenly get involved, and according to some rumors, JR's arrest is only a small part of a much bigger play by the feds, which might really be targeting none other than J. Prince Jr. But to understand why the feds might have been targeting him specifically, we have to go back a few years and look at a pattern that's now becoming hard to ignore, because this was far from the first violent incident involving J. Prince Jr. In fact, in recent years, wherever he seems to go, someone eventually ends up dead. J. Prince Jr., much like his father and his brothers, has been for years tied in with the Prince family businesses, which could include anything from boxing promotions to running a 1,200-acre ranch, and of course the music business. That's what they're most known for and where they've been able to stay relevant for decades. But J. Prince Jr. also has his own brand, which is also a record label and the crew that he rolls with called MOBTIES. Sounds an awful lot like a gang to me.
When did you start the MOBTIES brand name?
I mean, MOBTIES derives from Young Mafia. I started Young Mafia. We used to call it Young Mob. I started Young Mob, me and a couple of the homies. We started Young Mob probably early high school, like my 10th grade year. We started an entity where I brought all the different sides of town together and made one collective group for us to get money.
It's looking like J. Prince Sr. wanted to be a part of what his sons had going on since they were younger and cooler. He didn't want to be left behind with the Ghetto Boys and all them old school acts he had on his label. So he took the energy from his kids the same way Diddy did with his kids and ran with it, and I'm hoping that this don't land him in jail the same way it did Diddy.
But apparently in recent years, MOBTIES has really become an essential rebrand of the Rap-A-Lot label, with Drake, who was actually discovered by J. Prince Sr.'s son, Jazz Prince, even dedicating an entire track called MOBTIES to the crew on his 2018 album Scorpion, a song where he raps like a real mob boss about how he gets rid of his enemies before shouting out MOBTIES and painting them as something much more serious and dangerous than just a brand or a record label. In many ways, J. Prince Jr.'s MOBTIES has carried the same infamous reputation that J. Prince Sr. built with Rap-A-Lot Records, but in recent years, that reputation has taken on a far darker image, as people connected to MOBTIES have increasingly begun to turn up dead. In September 2022, an up-and-coming jewelry dealer from Chicago called Duke the Jeweler would join J. Prince Jr.'s crew to spend the Labor Day weekend in Houston, where in attendance were also other major figures from the rap game, including BOOSIE. The party also included some gambling, as Duke himself would post a video of them playing on social media, this including also J. Prince Jr., who was standing right next to Duke. But behind this seemingly harmless dice game, there was apparently something much more sinister going on, and according to later claims by Wack 100, who has become one of the loudest voices speaking out against the Prince family, J. Prince Jr. has allegedly been running a rigged dice game scheme for years, together with 3 other accomplices, one of these being called Lil Cam, whose name will later become central to this story.
He got 3 right, who rotate the dice. Now these dice is loaded. The tell me it's a named Wolf, Big Caprice, and watch this, and Little Cam are the loaded dice rotator.
However, during the dice game with Duke the Jeweler, things would go all the way wrong, as it was Duke who was allegedly handed the loaded dice by accident, causing him to go on a winning streak. And according to Wack, he walked away with up to $200,000.
There was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler around and got past the dice on accident and was hitting all them for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't gonna go too far into that story.
Now, this would have understandably left J. Prince Jr. and his MOBTIES crew fuming.
He said the jeweler got past the dice. He didn't even know the motherfucker loaded. He just think he hitting. He's as mad as a mother because they like, how you pass this loaded dice on us?
The very next day, on September the 4th, Boosie, one of the figures present at the previous night's dice game gathering, was scheduled to perform at Houston's Arena Theater alongside Plies and Lil Keke. Duke would also attend the concert, where he would seemingly arrive wearing 3 huge chains worth allegedly up to $1 million. Around 11:30 p.m, Duke would leave the concert walking to his car located in the arena parking lot. But just as Duke reached his vehicle, 2 gunmen jumped out of a GMC truck, rushing towards him and opening fire, shooting him repeatedly in what appeared to be a deliberate attempt to make sure that he was dead. The shooters would then jump back into their truck, which was driven by a third accomplice, and flee the scene. And while Duke was soon found by security guards, eventually he would be declared dead at that scene.
Now to a developing story. An investigation is underway after a deadly shooting at a rap concert in Southwest Houston.
The shooting happened last night at the Arena Theater along the Southwest Freeway in Fondren.
Police believe the 29-year-old victim attended the concert here at Arena Theater last night. Police currently searching for 3 people, 2 possible shooters and a driver.
As police noted soon after the shooting, there were no reports of any altercation beforehand, suggesting that the attack had likely been planned in advance.
At this time, we do have several witnesses, but it doesn't sound like there was an altercation. I don't know what the motive is for this, but there wasn't a fight or anything going on at the time, from my understanding.
Authorities also gave no indication that anything had been stolen from Duke after the murder, even though he had allegedly been wearing his expensive jewelry. However, Duke had also posted a photo on social media earlier that day showing himself with several bags, one of these possibly containing cash that he had won during that dice game, which he may well have still been carrying at the time of his death. But whatever the truth may be, rumors about possible suspects began spreading almost immediately afterwards, and surprisingly, many people started pointing fingers at Boosie, and especially his cousin, who some believed had been one of the shooters, as he had earlier posted videos of himself driving a GMC truck on social media, and even allegedly posting himself driving one the very following day after Duke's murder while leaving Houston heading to Atlanta. These claims would make Boosie lash out on social media, saying how he had just met Duke the previous day at the gambling party and that his cousin had nothing to do with it.
Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up, man. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to rob him and killed the dude. What the hell my 19-year-old cousin gonna try to rob and kill somebody? Bro, we getting money, man. We getting money. That ain't our stilo. As a boss, I ain't letting that go down like that, man. This dude finna make me a piece. So y'all need to kill that. That's bad low, man. Don't put us in nothing with no bad low. It's bad low, man. Bad low, man. Straight up, this bad low. Kill it.
About a week later, Boosie would do an interview with DJ Vlad, where he would further address the events leading to Duke's death, making some controversial claims, like denying that Duke had been on a winning streak, and instead claiming that he had been losing money like everyone else there.
Dude was gambling, they trying to make false reps like the dude beat somebody out some money, but the dude actually lost his money, bro. Ain't nobody really win, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude lost his money, and
Boosie would also claim that it was Duke who had reached out to him about the concert and asked if he could follow him there. But what he didn't explain was why Duke somehow ended up parking in the regular parking lot while Boosie and the others parked in the VIP area inside the arena.
So the next day, dude hit my partner like, man, y'all got the concert, let us trail y'all, woo-de-woo. So dude went with us to the concert, and after I come off stage, everybody leaving. You know, we parked under the parking lot, under the arena where celebrities parking and all that shit. He was in another car. He walked to his car. His car was outside the arena under where we was. It was on side the parking lot, so he had to walk to his car. And that's where the incident took place when somebody, tried to get him or whatever. But Vlad, bro, if anybody know me, bro, that ain't my stilo, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Clearly, Boosie was doing anything he could to place the blame off himself, but this interview would leave many people under the impression that he might have known a little something more than he was letting on. But increasingly, there were also those who were coming to the conclusion that the much more likely suspect was actually J. Prince Jr. One of the first people to make these claims publicly was Charleston White, one of the internet's most controversial figures, who appeared in a podcast already in 2023 alleging that J. Prince Jr. and MOBTIES were responsible for Duke's death after their alleged dice game scam had gone wrong.
Everybody in there that night know what the play was, man. Everybody in Texas know what the play is. If you rapping, you celebrity, if you like the strip club, you like to do this, you check in with them, they bringing them bad dice on you. Why you think they Duke the jeweler, they really couldn't get him? That's why they had, come on, homie.
Unfortunately, Duke's death was only the beginning, and only a few months later, another man would lose his life in Houston, and that murder would bring the Prince family under the limelight of law enforcement once again. At the turn of the month between October and November in 2022, the Migos duo Quavo and Takeoff visited Houston. Seemingly they were there to spend time with the MOBTIES crew and the Prince family, as they could be seen in videos posted by MOBTIES members in the 5th Ward. This is an infamous area in Houston, known for its violent history, which earned it the nickname the Bloody Nickel, as covered by YouTubers like Brandon Buckingham. But this is also the place where J. Prince Sr. hails from, and which the people associated with the Prince family most commonly rep as their hood.
Yeah, man. We got a little bit of straightening going on. You feel me? Yes, sir, nephew. Hey, man, that's how we rock. Put that in the back. Hold on. Got that big old boxer back there. Hey, man. Got that heavyweight back there. Don't think we playing. Thank you, man. Don't think we playing, man. Hey, man. We got a little bit of straightening going on. Yeah, the biggest.
Following their visit in the 5th Ward in the early morning hours of November the 1st, Quavo, Takeoff, and the MOBTIES entourage were attending a private event hosted by J. Prince Jr. at 810 Billiards and Bowling located in downtown Houston. Around 1 a.m. the venue began clearing people out for closing time, and by 2 a.m. most of the crowd had gathered outside, including Takeoff and numerous members of MOBTIES, as well as Quavo from the Migos, who was filmed by people from the party having an argument with members of MOBTIES, the main person seemingly exchanging words with him being another Prince family member known as Mike Prince.
They know y'all, but they're not going to be disrespectful because they want it. But they be disrespectful. You win basketball. Man, I'm not kidding about no basketball, bro. You just play basketball. You just saw me play basketball. Y'all just in the gym. Play like that, bro. Don't play like that, bro.
These videos would also catch the shooting that would take place only seconds later, this shooting tragically leaving Takeoff dead on the floor with multiple gunshot wounds.
Hip-hop fans woke up today to devastating news of yet another rapper gunned down in his prime and for no apparent reason. A spokesperson for the multi-platinum group Migos confirmed to the Associated Press that one of its 3 members, Takeoff, was shot and killed in Houston early this morning. Houston police say there were shots fired at the 810 Billiards and Bowling Alley in Houston. They confirmed 1 man was shot and killed and 2 others wounded. There was widespread speculation the deceased was rap star Takeoff, whose real name is Kirsnick Carey Ball. He is one of 3 members of the hip-hop group Migos and is related to the other 2. Quavo's his uncle and Offset is his cousin.
Interestingly, while the argument between Quavo and the others initially seemed to be about basketball, news reports later claimed that it actually stemmed from yet another dice game.
There's also much speculation the gunfire was over a dice game.
And the familiar connections wouldn't end there, as the news would also mention that one man who was part of the argument with Quavo was none other than Lil Cam, real name Cameron Joshua, one of the men accused by WAC 100 of being part of J. Prince Jr.'s rigged dice game scheme, with Cam getting the nickname Yellow Hoodie Guy in the immediate aftermath of the shooting, while all of the hip-hop media was trying to solve the mystery of who had fired the shots that killed Takeoff.
Somebody says Yellow Hoodie shot Takeoff in the torso. That's why he froze. I won't say the name. So-and-so peeped and tried to shoot at Yellow Hoodie and possibly killed Takeoff.
But what would cause the most controversy in the aftermath of the shooting was a video showing J. Prince Jr. just casually walking past Takeoff's body while other people were gathered around him trying to save his life.
Did y'all see Jay Prince Jr.? Look. He's right there, y'all. Jay Prince Jr. is right there. So people are going to take this and they're going to come with their own opinions and theories, and we knew this was going to happen.
Following Takeoff's murder, the first arrest would come almost exactly a month later, and it would be Lil Cam, who was taken into custody on weapons charges related to the incident rather than directly for Takeoff's killing.
Well, so many people are waiting for an arrest of a murder suspect. That is not what happened today. The man in question today was here the night that Takeoff was killed, and according to prosecutors, he allegedly had a weapon, but let's be clear, he is not charged with shooting anyone.
Oh my God, I just don't know. Hopefully they'll find some justice for Takeoff and Jake the Jeweler. I know MOBTIES did a whole lot of dirt, and I'm not saying that they should go to jail, but justice is justice. If they can find that they've been doing a disservice or a disjustice to their community, then I guess it's only right that justice is served. I hate to see people with money in situations like this, but you figure if you got money, you got the means to do the right thing, but that's not what they wanted to do. Oh my God, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section though. And for all you beautiful ladies out there.
Risk my life to give you documentations, girl. I risk my life to give you documentations, girl. I risk my life to give you documentations, girl. I risk my life to